Hi all, welcome to the session on polynomials. In today's video, we are discussing zeros of a polynomial. Let's have a look at what you're going to get particularly in this session. We will be reviewing the meaning of zero and factor of a polynomial. We will be understanding what's a graphical representation of zeros, and we'll also solve different types of MCQ questions which can be asked from this topic. Now let's see what are zeros of a polynomial. This topic is something which you learned in 9th grade. It more specifically appeared in exercise 2.2 of your 9th grade textbook, and this exercise will be important for 10th grade as well. So in case you have missed out on concepts which you learned last year, it was not clear to you, you have not practiced it well, please redo exercise 2.2 from your 9th grade. Now let's look at the concepts. If p of x is a polynomial in x, so there's some polynomial p of x, and if k is any now real number, the value obtained by replacing x by k in p of x is called the value of p of x at x is equal to k and is denoted by p of k. So if I want the value of p of x at x is equal to 1, let's say, you would be writing that as p of 1 after replacing x with 1. So as a specific example, let's assume that p of x was x square minus 1. To find p of 1, all I had to do was replace x over here by 1. And you get 1 square minus 1, which is 0 as the value of the polynomial at x is equal to 1, right? And next point says a real number a is a 0 of a polynomial p of x if p of a is equal to 0. In this case, a is also called a root of the equation p of x is equal to 0. Here, you saw that p of 1 became 0. The value of the polynomial was 0, which means that 1 is a 0 of this polynomial, right? And if I had an equation, x square minus 1 is equal to 0, what this statement says is that 1 is a root of the above equation. In order to obtain the zeros of p of x, we could have also factorized p of x. You can see that p of x could be factorized here as x plus 1 into x minus 1 by using the identity a square minus b square equals a plus b into a minus b. Now, what happens when I equate p of x is equal to 0? See, the point of finding the zeros of a polynomial is to equate it to 0 and find which values of x makes the value of p of x as equal to 0. So when I do this, I'll get x plus 1 into x minus 1 is equal to 0. And what values of x do we get here then? We can equate each of the factors separately to 0. X plus 1 is equal to 0 and x minus 1 is equal to 0. You will get x equals minus 1 or x is equal to plus 1. This is also another way of obtaining the zeros. By just equating the polynomial to 0 first itself, factorizing it would make it easier to get the zeros. There is also one more implication over here. If x plus 1 is a factor, it automatically implies that minus 1 would be a 0. If x minus 1 is a factor, it means that x is equal to 1 is a 0. So if x minus a is a factor, please remember that in that case, a would be a 0. All right. And vice versa is also true. If a is a 0, x minus a would be a factor. All these things you require from what you have learned in 9th grade. Now, the new thing which you have learned this year is the geometrical meaning of zeros of a polynomial. This comes in NCERT exercise 2.1. Given a polynomial p of x of degree n, the graph of y equals p of x intersects x-axis at maximum n points. Therefore, a polynomial p of x of degree n has at most n zeros. Every single point over here is important. You are taking a polynomial of degree n and you're telling the graph is y equals p of x. So I'm representing the values as the y coordinate over here. And we're saying that this graph will intersect x-axis at maximum endpoints if the degree is n. Therefore, a polynomial p of x of degree n has at most n zeros. Now, let's talk about degree of a polynomial. If you have a linear polynomial, that means the degree is 1. If you have quadratic, degree will be 2. If you're having a cubic polynomial, the degree is 3. And then you have biquadratic, meaning degree 4, quartic, meaning degree 5, and so on. But these three are the most important ones. Now, what the point we discussed here says is that a linear polynomial can have maximum only 1 0 since the degree is 1. In fact, linear polynomial is a case where you will have exactly 1 0. It is not possible that you can have a linear polynomial where there is no zeros. Any linear polynomial ax plus b will have exactly 1 0. And that 0 would be x is equal to minus b by a, which I obtained when I equated ax plus b is equal to 0. And if you look at the graphical representation, if you are having x-axis and the y-axis, the graph of a linear polynomial would be something like this, a straight line. And this point of intersection with the x-axis would be x equals minus b by a and y is equal to 0, because the value of the polynomial we are equating to 0 over here, right? So this is going to be the single point of intersection of a linear polynomial with the x-axis. As you can see, degree is 1. It intersects x-axis at one point. The x-coordinate of that point gives you the value of the 0. All right? Quadratic polynomial. A quadratic polynomial's shape would be a parabola. Now, quadratics can have 0 zeros. It could have 1 0, or maximum it can have 2 zeros. So when you draw a quadratic, the shape is a parabola. Now there are different possibilities for this. When you have the x and y axis like this, there is a possibility that the quadratic may intersect at exactly 2 points. If it intersects at exactly 2 points, that means it has 2 zeros. There is a possibility that it may intersect only at 1 point. So it could be like this, which means it has 1 0. And it is also possible that the quadratic may not intersect at all. It may just go above the x-axis like this, in which case we say there are 0 zeros. Important thing in this discussion is quadratic can have maximum 2 zeros. And how do you obtain the number of zeros graphically? Look at the points of intersection with the x-axis. For a cubic polynomial, you could have no zeros, 1 0, 2 zeros, or maximum 3 zeros. So cubic polynomial would have a shape where maybe you're having this way. This is a case where you have 1, 2 zeros. You could have a cubic polynomial with all the 3 zeros also. So it could be this way, 1, 2, 3 zeros, right? So remember, zeros of a polynomial is just the number of points of intersection with the x-axis. You just trace your finger along the x-axis and see how many points it intersects in. Let's discuss few important MCQ questions based on these concepts now. First question. The zeros of the polynomial x cube minus 2x square minus x plus 2 are. How do you find zeros of this polynomial? It's a cubic polynomial. One way to do it would be to factorize and find the zeros. Since it is an MCQ question though, you could also do it another way where you are substituting options and checking. You know what is the meaning of zero for polynomial. The value should turn to 0 when you substitute these values. Look at the options carefully and try to follow the process of elimination to see which option works for you. So if you're using this method to check which one are zeros, let's start with the simplest value, which is 0. Let's find out what is P of 0. When you try finding out P of 0, you get 0 cube, which is 0, minus 2 into 0 square, again 0, minus 0, which is 0 again, plus 2. We're substituting wherever x comes with 0. You get the answer as 2. Now, this is definitely not a zero of the polynomial. Because if 0 was a 0 of the polynomial, you would have got P of 0 is equal to 0, which did not happen. So you can eliminate this option. 0, 2, and 1 will not be the answer. Look at the remaining options. All of them have 1. So 1 is definitely a 0. You don't have to check for 1. Confusion would be whether 2 or minus 2 is a 0, 1 or minus 1 is a 0. So since we already know 1 is 0, let's just check for minus 1. We get P of minus 1 is equal to minus 1 cube minus 2 into minus 1 square minus minus 1 plus 2. After writing, please check whether you took the signs and everything correctly. Have you substituted the values right? So be careful about plus or minus here. A negative number raised to an odd number will be negative. So minus 1 cube will be minus only. Here you get minus 2 into plus 1. Minus of minus 1 is plus 1 plus 2. Here you would see that minus 1 plus 1 will cancel. Minus 2 plus 2 would cancel. The answer would be 0. So this means minus 1 is surely a 0 of this polynomial. You can cancel off this option. You are having now the options left as 1, 2, minus 1, 1, minus 2, minus 1. So we need to check for 2 or minus 2. Let's check any one. Check for 2. You get 2 cube minus 2 into 2 square minus 2 plus 2. This gives you 8 minus 8 minus 2 plus 2. What do you get as the answer? The answer is 0, which means 2 also has to be a 0 of the polynomial. My answer should be 1, 2, minus 1. Okay, this is one way you can solve this question where you're going by the options. If you are good at factorizing though, I would suggest to try and factorize this polynomial and then find the zeros. What happens when you factorize this? Look at the first two terms. When you look at the first two terms, you can take x square common. Taking x square common will leave you with x square times x minus 2. And from the second part, the second group of two terms, again, you consider x minus 2 in brackets because you want to repeat the same factors so that you're able to take a common factor out. What would be left outside? You will have minus 1. Taking the common factor out, you get x minus 2 into x square minus 1, which is the same as x minus 2 into x plus 1 times x minus 1. Here we have obtained all the factors of this polynomial. And we know that if you have the factors, it's easy to get the zeros. X minus 2 as a factor means that plus 2 will be the 0. Because you're going to equate x minus 2 to 0, right? That time x is equal to 2 is what you get. X plus 1 is a factor means minus 1 is a 0. And x minus 1 is a factor would imply that plus 1 is a 0. So this way directly you would get the answer as 1, 2 and minus 1. I've explained two methods to you here. One is using the option, one is the factorization. Factorization would be actually faster if you know how to factorize this properly. But if you are a person who's generally not confident with the factorization, I wanted to show you that yes, there is an alternative method which you can apply as well. Okay, let's go to second question. Second question says that if one of the zeros of the quadratic polynomial k minus 1 x square plus kx plus 1 is equal to minus 3, then what is the value of k? Over here, when you want to find value of k in any sort of question like this, where the zeros is given, what you should be doing is apply the logic that at the 0 of the polynomial, the value of the polynomial will be equal to 0. So if the polynomial is considered as p of x, then here minus 3 is given as a 0. So minus 3 is a 0 would imply that p of minus 3 is equal to 0. This is a logic you will apply for all such questions. And this kind of question is quite important. So substitute wherever you see x in the expression with minus 3. So as you're writing this, you will say p of minus 3 is equal to k minus 1. You see an x over here, replace it with minus 3. Then you have plus k x. So replace the x with minus 3 plus 1. What will be the value of this? The value of this will be 0 since minus 3 is a 0 of the polynomial. So this is the equation we will be using to find the value of k. We get here k minus 1 times 9 minus 3k plus 1 is equal to 0. 9k minus 9 minus 3k plus 1 is 0. So you got 6k minus 8 is equal to 0. And this would be 6k is equal to plus 8. Be careful about the signs over here. And k is equal to 8 by 6. 8 by 6 would be the same as 4 by 3. The answer would be the first option over here, 4 by 3. All right, so I want you to be careful about calculations over here because the options would be very close. Options would look very similar to you. There'll be a plus minus. So you need to get the signs correct. Otherwise, you'll end up marking the wrong answer after all this work. Okay, question 3. If 2.5 are the zeros of px square plus 5x plus r, then what condition between p and r, which is given, would be true? What is the value of p and r? This is another question based on finding the values of constants over here when zeros are given. Here, 2 zeros are given and you're having 2 unknown values. So we'll form 2 equations with both these zeros. If you're having 2 as a 0, if 2 is a 0, it automatically means that p of 2 is equal to 0. Substitute wherever x comes with 2. You obtain p into 2 square plus 5 into 2 plus r is 0, or 4p plus 10 plus r is 0. And half is also a 0 of this polynomial. Half is a 0 means that p of half is equal to 0. So you get p of half square plus 5 into half plus r is equal to 0, or p by 4 plus 5 by 2 plus r is 0. Take the LCM here. When you take LCM, you will get p plus 5 times 2, which is 10, plus 4r by 4 is equal to 0, which could be just p plus 10 plus 4r is equal to 0. These are the 2 equations which you are obtaining here, which will help us to find out the values of p and r. What should we do once we have these 2? What you do is equate these 2. Both are equal to 0, right? Equate both of them. Equating both of them will give you 4p plus 10 plus r is the same as p plus 10 plus 4r. What could you do on both sides? Cancel 10. 10 would get cancelled. And when you rearrange this, when you move p to the left side, r to the right side, you get 3p equals 3r, which means p is equal to r. So definitely p's value must be the same as r's value. You could eliminate these 2 options, which gives you different values of p and r. Now, your aim now is to find these values of p and r. How do you do that? Use any one of the equations. Look at this one. Let's use this equation to find out the value of p and r. Let's substitute p is equal to r. So when you're substituting here, you will get 4p plus 10 plus p, since r is equal to p, is equal to 0. Or 5p plus 10 is equal to 0. You will get here p is equal to minus 10 by 5 or minus 2. So the answer here would be p equals r equals minus 2. Both the constants p and r's value would be the same, which is minus 2 in this case. Again, since the options are so close, you're having plus 2 and minus 2, be careful with the signs when you are solving this question. Next question. If x to the power 100 plus 2x to the power 99 plus k is divisible by x plus 1, what is the value of k? When I'm saying a polynomial is divisible by another polynomial, it means the second polynomial is a factor of the first polynomial. So when I'm saying that p of x equals x to the power 100 plus 2x to the power 99 plus k, and that it is divisible by x plus 1, this is the same as saying that x plus 1 is a factor of p of x. If x plus 1 is the factor of p of x, then what would be the 0 of p of x? Minus 1 is a 0 in that case. We can say p of minus 1 would be equal to 0. So therefore, we get, after substituting minus 1 in place of x throughout, minus 1 to the power of 100 plus 2 times minus 1 to the power 99 plus k would be equal to 0. What is a negative number raised to an even number? Minus raised to even will be plus. So this will be plus 1 to the power 100, which is 1, plus 2 into minus 1 to the power 99. Minus raised to odd number will be minus, and 1 to the power 99 is 1 only. So you get 2 into minus 1 plus k is equal to 0. In this case, we are obtaining 1 minus 2 plus k is 0, minus 1 plus k is 0, or k is equal to plus 1. This will be the answer for question 4. Next question. Question 5. Graph of a polynomial p of x is shown over here. You need to find the number of zeros of this polynomial. Now, what is important over here in these type of questions is just trace your finger along the x-axis. Easiest way. Look at the x-axis alone. Just see how many points are there where this graph intersects the x-axis. So when you trace your finger along the x-axis, you can see that there is one point of intersection here, a second point of intersection here, third point, and then fourth point. So remember, to obtain the points of intersection, just move along the x-axis. Sometimes the figure can be confusing because there may be many points of intersection with the y-axis. Don't look at the y-axis at all when they ask you number of zeros of p of x. So for p of x, you're only looking at the x-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4 points where the value of p of x becomes 0. Why does the value of p of x become 0 over here? Because the y coordinate is 0 here. Here, the values of p of x is indicated by the y coordinate. On x-axis, we know the y coordinate is 0. So value of p of x is the same as y, which is 0 here. Number of zeros of p of x will be 4. Direct question, just trace your finger along the x-axis, very easy to score. Next question, find the zeros of the polynomial. There is a graph given for this polynomial. From the graph, you need to find the numerical values of the zeros. So this is not a question where you're finding the number of zeros. Number of zeros, I think from the options itself, all options have 3 zeros written. So it should be 3 zeros. As you can see by tracing your finger along the x-axis, you're having 1, 2, 3 zeros. The important thing over here is to identify the value of these zeros. Remember, the x coordinate of the points of intersection with the x-axis gives you the values of the zeros of the polynomial, because these x values are the values of x at which the y coordinate is becoming 0, and y coordinate is the same as value of the polynomial. So the zeros over here will be minus 5, minus 2, and plus 2 directly. Your answer will be option B. Question 7. Which one of the following is a biquadratic polynomial? You need to understand the meaning of a biquadratic polynomial for this. What is a biquadratic polynomial? Biquadratic is basically any polynomial of degree 4. So the degree of the polynomial has to be 4, means that maximum it could have 4 zeros. It could have no zeros, 1 zero, 2 zeros, 3 zeros, or 4 zeros, right? These are all the possibilities. Now, we need to look among the given answer choices which best represents a biquadratic polynomial. If you look at the first one, so let's see the points of intersection with the x-axis. You're having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 zeros for this polynomial. Second one, you're having 1, 2, 3. 3 points of intersection with the x-axis. Now, it is possible for a biquadratic, that means a degree 4 polynomial, to have 3 zeros. That is a possibility. But going by the shape, and the fact that it has 3 points of intersection with the x-axis, this is most likely to be a cubic polynomial of degree 3. The next one, if we look at the number of zeros over here, you're having 1 0 here and second 0 over here. Again, it is possible that a biquadratic degree 4 can have 2 zeros, but going by the shape looks like most likely a quadratic since it's parabolic. Look at option D now. You're having over here 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 zeros over here for option D. If you look at the given options for this question, which would be the best answer choice for this? Since we're talking about degree 4, the one which has 4 zeros would be the best answer choice considering this question. So the answer over here would be D. D, which has 4 zeros, 4 points of intersection with the x-axis, would be the biquadratic polynomial of degree 4 over here. So that's about it with regards to the different kinds of questions from zeros of polynomial, which I had to discuss today. And what did you learn in this session? Let's summarize these things. You learned what is the meaning of finding value of a polynomial at x is equal to a. So when you're substituting another number in place of x, how to evaluate the value of the polynomial is something we saw. We also saw the meaning of zero of a polynomial. It is that value of x at which p of x is equal to 0. So any number which when substituted in place of x, if it makes the value as 0, that is the 0 of the polynomial. And if you have a is a 0, then it means that x minus a is a factor. If you're having any number as a 0 of a polynomial, x minus that number would be a factor. So if a was a negative number, then it becomes x plus, right? And we also saw the graphical meaning of zeros of the polynomial. For any polynomial p of x, the number of places where it intersects the x-axis. So if you have a polynomial like this, just count the number of points of intersection with the x-axis. These number of points of intersection with the x-axis will give you an idea of the number of zeros. And the values of the zeros are given by the x coordinates of these points of intersection. That's it for this video. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.